Rockets incoming. Escort the payload. The payload moves towards our desired.
Alright, so this is all good. Pushing cart and cover. I like this jump up top here. Although I think you should always look. So like you should look in the doorway when you jump up. Your anti got a kill up here, but like you don't know if someone's in there. Like maybe the Anna's holding the mini or something. Like that's an easy kill for you. So just like make sure you check corners. I like the staying high ground, just getting damage. The bubble wasn't really needed. It kind of helps out your diva, but like this can be used for like much bigger things, and you end up kind of feeding because you used it here. Like this jump is just like that's bad. You don't have bubble. There's no way you're getting out. There's 5 of them alive. You're gonna die here. So like it's all good. Once you've committed this cooldown, your job at this point is to hold space, but the way you do it is not by jumping in. When you don't have bubble, you absolutely need to use this as an escape ability. So what you can do is actually you can just walk to here, and then just sit here and taser out so that your lightning is going out here, but you're not really showing. Like maybe you're showing a little bit, but you always have the option of backing out. This makes this what this does is that it forces them to not walk forward, because if they walk forward, they take damage for free because they can't shoot you. So like in order to push past here, they have to like hard commit and try to force you out. And at that point, you're holding jump and you can jump back to your team. And if they don't push, then they're standing over here, and your team gets free cart push until at least here, right? So until it comes around the corner over here. So when you've committed bubble like that, you just have to play more patient and like be aware of your cooldown. If you had bubble still, that's still like a really risky jump, because once you get past this corner, there's no cover for you like aside from the bubble. So once they break bubble, it only has 700 HP, and you know it's pretty rough. But if you have bubble, at least you have a chance of surviving. Like maybe you can jump deep left, bubble, and then like start retreating toward the doorway or something like that. But like with no bubble, you just absolutely cannot jump there. So and like, or like another option would be just to like you had bubbles, or like whether you have bubble or not, you get to hold this room as well. And same deal, like you zap this way, they can't walk past you without forcing you out, and your team gets to push the cart to corner for free. So like either side is fine. This one's a little bit further up, so it's slightly better, but either way. Guy here should.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Such potential.
Re-engaging. Pardon me.
Enemy turret ahead.
So here, like, same deal. If you're jumping this high ground, that's okay. But like, if you're jumping into them, that's not good. If you have the option, you always want to use this as exit, like as getting out mobility to stay alive. And so let me go back a little bit here. So basically, like, okay, here, your team is here, right? So they're already controlling this space. So if you jump and like land on the corner, you basically wasted your jump for nothing, because like you can walk up here. It's going to take you 2 seconds instead of, you know, the half second that it takes you with jump. But then you're going to get there and have jump. And then once you're there, then you can like walk forward and zap them. Like depending on where the other team is playing, you can walk forward and zap them, and maybe drop shield to like finish someone off. Or if like Anna's playing really far back and you can get an isolation, then you can jump her, like take the 1v1 and shield and win that. You have a lot more options if you have jump when you're here. But if you jump here, then you can't do anything except for like play on cart and maybe shield, and then not have shield for your next jump. So you know, it's just not great. Jumping up here is like I still think walking up here and then having your resources and then making a decision with full information of being able to see everything beyond the corner is the best. But if you jump up here, that's not too bad, because then you can like peek out the top over there on like that balcony, and then you can maybe like if they're standing like around this corner like a little bit like not under the balcony but a little bit further out, then you can zap them for free and wait for your cooldown and then like make a play like you would from here with jump. So like this at least gives you more options. Jumping straight to here gives you no options, and then walking up I think gives you like it supports your team best while keeping like your options open. So I like walking up best, and jumping up top and then like poking a little bit, waiting for cooldown is like fine. Jumping in is just not like you're I don't know. It's just a waste. So let's see. Yeah. So this is and you're committing in too. So like this time it's not really like 1v4 or 5 or like last time, because your supports are like pretty close behind you. But when you're out like this, like they're all gonna focus you. So it's gonna be like you doing damage to one person, 5 people shooting you, and both your supports burning resource trying to keep you alive. Which means that they can't it's really hard for them to heal everyone else who may need heals and may be able to get more value. You know, like Storm Arrow or like a freeze or something. But like playing like this, like I don't know if like you may or may not die, but like you're gonna take a ton of damage. They're gonna get ult charge. Your supports are gonna have to she's gonna have to use a lot of her clip on you. She's gonna have to use like a lot of her heal resources on you. And even though it may seem like you're like doing something, like it hurts your team a lot. So instead, okay, so this is actually even worse than jumping to the corner. And I'm not like trying to like harp on this too hard, but I kind of want to explain like why and have you have the understanding of like why different things are better or worse. So if I can, nope, okay, the jump here. Okay. Okay, so in there, I'm pretty sure you're holding forward key here, which does give you a little bit more forward distance. If you hold back here, you should land over here. You can also land like just behind payload. I think these two are fine, or like equivalent basically. And from behind payload, then your healers like you know, like the people over here, like these 3 people can't shoot you. Only like I think there's one person over here. Only these 2 can. And you can still damage the one person that you're going to be able to damage here, right? So like if you're here, you get the same amount of value, and your healers get to spend their resources enabling your other teammates, and like you know you just take less damage, and you like demand less resources out of your team, and you do the same amount of work personally. So yeah. Now, I like the shield. Basically, like you didn't really shield until they're like really focused on you. So that's good. Like you don't want to shield too early, because then they burn shield and they can back up. Basically, they have a clear target to shoot your shield, and they can back up and respond, and you won't be able to damage them as much, or it won't provide as much like enablement for your team. Shielding, once they've kind of committed on you, like they're using their resources, they're using micro missiles, they're using whatever. It blocks more abilities rather than just damage. So I really like that.
Get into position.
But you can see you're more like burn like 3 or 4 seconds of heal on you. So that's at least half of her resource. But the rest did die, so you should win this anyway. Okay, this is good. Sounds like there's a torb to your left. killing the turret, but like I think the Torb's more important. Like what you could do is just shield where you shielded. The turret won't get any damage in, and you can help people deal with the Torb. You guys should fire out a lot.
Payload in motion.
Unlucky coalescence. Take it. Need it. Fine. I think you're looking behind for like if there's any people left. That's really good actually. So here, is that their diva? If so, then you should just kill her. But if she wasn't like feeding like this, then like where I would say you should play is again like this door or this door, and same concept as before. You just zap out here. You can peek a little bit and just like take minimal damage and like provide pressure that they can't push into without forcing you out. And then you can always jump out, and you have shield to like sustain or whatever. So, but since the diva was there, that's I agree about and good job not primaling the nano. Also, like you know, a lot of people will like primal after nano, and it's like just terrible because you do less damage actually because you can't consistently hit people, and you're taking half damage anyway. So if you primal after, like you basically like have double health while you're nanoed, but if you like get 1000 HP from primal, your nano, like you're not going to die anyway, so the nano damage reduction is kind of useless. And by like taking half HP on your like normal health and then primaling after, you get a bigger heal. So that's really good. Yeah. Pick one target and focus it. Also, I think I don't know if you know about the short jump. So yeah, that looks like a full jump. You jump past her. And then this again also looks kind of like, unless you were trying to, like maybe you're trying to land behind and boot back, and like just flick around and boot back, which that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. Okay, maybe you were trying to do that, but like otherwise, you can, if you hold back before you jump, you'll get a much shorter jump. Basically, if you do, I'm just going to write S for shift here, shift and forward, then you get a really long jump. If you shift and like neutral, you get like the normal jump. And then if you shift and back after, like after jumping, then you get like a slightly shorter jump than that. But if you like hold back and then shift and then like keep holding back, then your jump actually gets like quite short, and you can kind of like the distance between you and the Moira, you would land on your side of her basically. Oh, this is Torb. Yeah, like you could land on the Torb with like holding back, shift, and then keep holding back through the jump. You'll land on him rather than bouncing off the wall and not getting the jump back damage. Yeah, so like you see how you like kind of go past him. Like you would land on him instead. And then the Moira here. This distance, you can also like land where she is, or like on like slightly. It would probably be slightly on this side of her. But actually, like if you were going for the jump behind and boop, that's actually a better play. So I think in this case it's fine. But the Torb distance, like you can definitely land on him. And then that like last jump, basically I think it's better to stay between them and the exit. The same idea of like jumping behind the Moira and like booping her in. If you stay here and just zap them, like either your team kills them or they try to back out and then they run into you and you kill them. So if you like jump that way, then you know, they get like a freer retreat, or they're backing away from damage always, versus if you stay here, then they're backing into you and you can finish them off. So I mean, they're probably still going to die anyway, even if you jump over there. But you know, who knows, like maybe the Moira can heal and orb, and maybe at least the Mercy gets out or something like that. But whereas I think if you stay here, then you have a better chance of like just corralling them in this area where they don't have an exit. So yeah, that's like pretty minor, but still, yeah, like that. She was at like 50 HP. Like you definitely would kill her by just continuing to zap her while she flies out if you're over there still.
That one's
I don't mind that. Like, just kill the turret. Like, you know, normally I would say trust your team to do it, but I know sometimes in ranked it doesn't, or you know, in quick play it doesn't really happen. So I don't mind it. But I would actually say to like push up here. I know the Torb's here, but you have Bull, so you can always, if he like really pressures you and hits E and like you're not getting healed, once you get half, you can always bubble, and then if you get really low, you can always jump out of the window that's like over here. So and like, you know, if you walk up and he drops out, then you get the bridge for free, and you'll have jump back. So like let's see here. Basically, okay, you can't see the angle, but yeah, basically this jump that you do, like, yeah, you want to get in here, but you would be able to be here and still have your jump if you just walked forward from that position. So and then like you would also be able to not just shoot this side, but also like look and see if there's anyone over here, like I don't know, maybe the Mercy's here or something, and you would be able to shoot both sides. So like being in here is just like better position. You can always drop down to take a fight if someone's low, and then you just have more cover to like stay here and not be forced out, and just like stay here longer and be able to, and still be able to jump out, like so. Okay. I think the idea of this build was good. Basically, you want a shield to damage the Orisa, but I guess if you're gonna stay here, then this gives you just as much, basically. And so if you could have held it a little bit longer, because your healers have sightlines on you, you can just like walk forward a little bit and like shield from here, and then you just deny a little bit more, and you're probably getting damage on the Orisa for longer. Whereas here, like now that you've committed this shield here, like you didn't really need it yet, and now you're kind of stuck. Like you can't do any better than like standing at this corner or like right here, right? And like once the shield breaks, you're gonna go here. So if you can like just be a little bit more patient and recognize that there's only 3 people here, they can't kill you that fast. You can walk up, shield, take more space, be applying more damage and build more ult, and then still be able to back out. So just like a little bit more patience with the cooldown there. You hear the poker up top left, so you should look for it. I agree with not like jumping up there, but you should at least look and like see like where it is. Like you can't jump there because the Torb might be there, and you don't have shield, so he can actually blow you up pretty well with his like overload ability, and then just right clicking into you. Okay, so that jump again, like I think if you angle up just a little bit more, and then you're doing the long jump where you hold forward through the whole jump, I think you should be able to make it. So it's just like put your crosshair up a little bit more, but then make sure you're holding forward during the jump, and you should be able to land right on the edge. So yeah, just mechanical of getting. Okay, so you're here because you missed that jump. It's pretty scary, but you have shield back. If you were like watching the cooldown, then this is fine. Although you do want to like drop it and like probably start backing or going to this mini right here pretty soon, because this looks really risky to me. They weren't really shooting at you, I guess. Okay, this is good actually because of the coalescence. If Moira didn't use coalescence there, or you didn't know that she had it, so there's two ways that this jump can be good. Either she pops coalescence first, and you're like, oh, she's coalescing, I'm gonna go kill stuff with her. Or if you have hit tab and you know that she has coal, and you're like, and you jump and you call for coal, then either way, that's great because she's doing 80 DPS and you're doing 60 DPS. So anything here dies in like 1.5 seconds, or any squishy here. And both of you shoot through shields. There's like literally nothing they can do to stop it. But if the coal wasn't here, either you didn't know she had it or she doesn't have it, then this is kind of like the first jump you did where you're jumping into 6, or like, I mean, it's not 6. I think they have 4 or 5 here. But you're jumping into a lot of people. Yeah, I think Bastion's walking back from spawn. You're jumping into a lot of people, and you're gonna get focused, and you're gonna die. And you don't have shield. So, yeah. So without the coal, this is really bad. With the coal, this is actually a really good play. So. Melee. Jumping behind again, so this is really good because now that they're down a bit, you want to like be between them and where they want to go, because you do a lot of you do a lot of damage, but it takes time for you to do the damage. So you just want to be like applying it for as long as possible and making them walk through your damage rather than being like chasing them with damage. But yeah, so this jump is really good. You're low. You do have shield. I don't know. I probably would have dropped shield there. Like, most of them already died, so you know they're not gonna really be able to fight for like until these guys come back, and you will have shield back by then. So, kind of in between fights, I'd be a little bit more liberal with using your shield, especially when you're like this low, when you have like 100 HP or 50 HP. Just like be careful. Like the only time that it would be bad to shield is if you know you're gonna get killed, and let's say like this didn't happen, or this happened like 5 seconds ago, so that they're gonna come back. They're gonna be back pretty soon. Their spawns are gonna be back pretty soon. Then you would maybe try to like not use it because it's pretty likely that they're gonna get a fight at the end of the point, and you want to have this cooldown available for that. But in this situation, I think you can just make sure you stay alive. Yeah, so you end up shielding. But you shielded once you were already pretty safe. So just make sure to like shield to keep yourself alive. Like I don't mind the shield anyway, but it's like pretty risky earlier. Bubble this. So in this instance, actually, when she gets slept, you probably didn't notice right away, but when she gets slept like this, like as a monkey, you're not gonna be able to burst her down. So what you want to do is like comet and like call or like do a countdown where you say, okay, Diva's sleeping, 3, 2, 1, go, and then everyone can shoot her at the same time. She did get slept out of fly, so she's probably not gonna get out here anyway. But like if she hadn't used her jets, wait, it's their diva. If she hadn't used her jets, then there's a chance she can get out. Like she can fly to the window up here and then walk in cover out to her team. So if you like in that case, like if you do the countdown, it's a lot more likely that like three of you, like you, the Anna that slept her, and maybe the Moira or a May can get a freeze or something. Like three of you can probably break her mech before she gets out of the window if you all focus her. But if you like wake her up right away and people are like, oh, where's the diva? Like they're reacting, then it's not gonna happen. But yeah, but she got slept during her first anyway, so. This is also a situation where you can try to just like jump on her as well to get that 50 HP of damage, the landing damage. Let's see where. Wait. Okay, so you're pretty close. It would actually be a pretty hard jump to make. But if you do the short jump, okay. If you do the short jump, you would land like probably like on the side of the stairs there. So I guess it doesn't really matter here because she's far enough away. Like it's gonna do like 10 damage maybe. But you can still like, I guess if she was a little bit farther, you can do the short jump and get the landing damage here. And you're not gonna need this because there are teams at spawn and like you can just use this for damage here. Yeah, but like this is kind of like edge case and probably not gonna do that much, so it doesn't matter. And of course that's only if you guys do the countdown and try to burst her down. Otherwise it is better for you to be where you are and like be between her and her exit. So yeah.
Maybe I will.
Again, so you're using the jump for movement here, and so for one, there's a Genji in here, and you can just walk at him. And then when he dashes out, you can jump to follow. But like even if there's not a Genji here, then I just think like it's just better to preserve this cooldown. Like, like when you get to the corner, there may be an option to jump like a support that's alone in the back, or you might be able to push more aggressively and then jump out. So like if you keep this cooldown, then you have a lot more options, and that's gonna like get you more value in the long run, versus just using it to get to the corner faster. Like by saving the 2 seconds of getting to the corner, you burn like 5 seconds of not really being able to do anything other than stand on cart and zap anyone who's like on top of cart. So yeah, so like if you walk 2 seconds to the corner, like you spend 2 seconds, and then you have this and you have this and you have options to do whatever. So you spend 2 seconds, but then you get to do whatever you want. So like you have options. Whereas if you use the ability, like you get there like maybe instantly, right? Or like in like 0.2 seconds. But then you have a 5 second cooldown left, and like you have to wait. Right, and then so like by doing this, essentially you get like three more seconds of like doing stuff, and like you just have like I don't know, you just like you're safer, you like have it's like less risky, you have more options, like I don't know, it's just better. Yeah, and like I know you're coming up on primal here, but you don't really want to like primal to initiate. You really it's more of like you jump in, get some value, they get you down to like 100, and then you primal, or like 150, like to be safe, and then you primal, and then you get like you do even more. It's you don't really want to like walk in, be 500 HP, but like oh I have to jump now, so you just primal. Like it's not as efficient. So the Orisa here is here, so like you can zap her, but she's gonna fortify. You're not gonna be doing very much damage. You can back out, maybe. So like if you're here, like if you jump here, your only option is zap the Orisa. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's not. It could be something better. If you walk here, like maybe the Orisa backs up to the corner, and you don't get to zap her right away. But if she's back there, then your team gets to push up the cart to corner for free. Or you get here and who is this? This is their Torb's here, so this is Mercy, I guess. So you could maybe like jump the Mercy, bubble, and then like kill the Mercy with your Mei or something. Like you have more options, or you can like walk up to the Orisa, zap, drop shield and zap her, and force her even further back, so your team gets even more push. And if they try to burst you, you can jump back to safety. Or if your shield goes down, you can jump back to safety or something like that. So like you just like you can do a lot more. Okay. So they're calling now. So this is kind of the opposite situation of like when your Moira was coalescing. Your team will need to fall back. Like you have a lot of HP, but she's doing 80 DPS. So plus like whatever other people are doing, and if Mercy's damage boosting her, then she's going to be doing about 100 DPS, which is like 2 seconds to kill anyone. So like you should know that this means that your team will have to back up. So these guys, maybe not so much the Mei, but definitely at least these three. And so this means that like you don't have to like back out all the way, but you can't push up as much because you're not going to have support. Like your Ana may not be able to PQ to heal, or like like your Moira may be running for her life. So you're just not going to have as much support, and you don't have shield. So like if you, I think you can like still play on cart, for example, but like being in front of cart in the open, it's like really risky. And especially if you don't have your cooldowns here. But like even if you did, like you can't really push alone. So even if you had these, like I would just like wait this out a little bit more and then maybe look to go in and make a play. So just be aware, like this is not dangerous to you, but it's dangerous to the rest of your team, and kind of be aware of like what these ults mean for everyone else and play according to that, rather than just playing like, oh, I'm not gonna die here, so I can do whatever I want. Like it's just try to think of the team game. Okay. So they died. The other team used 2 ults, so that is like fine. You just make sure you jump out here. You can jump into the bridge, like the window in the bridge, and then you'll have cover. You can either go left into the room or jump out into cover. Let's see if you do that. Oh no, okay. Yeah, 2 down. So Primal doesn't kill anything. It can kill things, but it doesn't kill this or this. And even the Genji is pretty hard. The Ursa is pretty hard. Baby Diva you could kill, but only if it's Baby Diva, not Mech. And Torb is actually pretty hard because if he has his overload up. So if you've seen him use it, then you can maybe go for the kill on him, like after the armor's worn off. But like, there's not a whole lot you can kill with this. So it would be a lot better used to like, let's say you're Hanzo Dragons, then you can boot people into Dragons, or like a Diva Bomb, you can boot into Bomb, or just like if your team's like pushing together and their team's like, let's say your team's pushing up and their team's like here, you can jump in behind, burn like half your health. Primal, and then look to knock them into your team. Things like that is like better use. If they had a Hanzo or like a Widow or like I don't know, maybe like a McCree or something, then you can it is an option to go for a solo kill. You have to know your juggles, but those things are killable. Or like an Ana or Zen. Ana, depending on if she has sleep. But definitely a Zen, a Baptiste. Yeah, so there are things you can kill with Primal, but the enemy team doesn't have a whole lot of them, and you're down 2. So And keep in mind, like you have 1,000 HP here, but this is all HP that gives ult charge. So, like killing this turret isn't going to do a whole lot because by the time your team comes back to fight, oh, you got 2 picks actually. Maybe this is winnable, but like by the time you guys get in, like he's probably going to have the turret back. It's a 8-second cooldown or something after it dies. So like, I don't know, like even if you kill this, like it has 200 HP. It doesn't get booped, but like if you can kill something with 200 HP, like wouldn't you rather it be like one of these guys or a baby diva or something? So like in this situation where like there's a bunch of people shooting at you, you're feeding them ult charge, you're feeding that torp ult charge, and like this thing doesn't matter that much because like you guys probably can't push here. Although you are even, so maybe you can, but most of the time. Oh, yeah, okay. So like definitely hitting the second jump here, like at this point you're like pretty low and you should definitely jump out that second jump. I think it's more being aware of your health, especially. And there's like when you're like 200 to 300 HP on primal, you still need to jump out. Like you're not invincible. So.
Escorting the
Further experimentation.
They're gonna have spawns
required.
faster, so you guys won't be able to cap this.
Enemy turret ahead.
At least you shouldn't be able to get this. Let's see.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Again, a little bit more patient on the bubble here, so you know you want to pressure them. And so, like here, you are getting a little bit low, but it's a Reaper. He's pretty far away. He's not doing that much damage into you, and you can see that you're getting healed. So like he's the only threat. Like Moira can't really do that much to you. So you can, I think you can walk up to here at least and like bubble so that like it almost touches the door, and then you can basically force them out. Like make it really hard for them to push through the door. And like you have support, so you don't have to be too worried here. And they're down, so yeah. So like this bubble, like if you had dropped it now, it would be, you know, top of the stairs maybe, and then from there you can zap the whole door. So it makes it really a lot harder for them to walk through. Good target focus. Just like a small thing, but if you just walk on top of cart here, it'll be a lot easier for you to track him. Like you're fine here anyway, but just like a small optimization for like getting those last few kills. Like if it was a Lucio or something, and you just walk around the cart with him, he'll get out, like he'll break line of sight with you. Like he'll, you know, the rest of your team is still shooting him, so he's gonna die eventually. But you know, in those like small cases where maybe Lucio living a little bit longer, less like a ball touch or whatever, you know, just if you go on top of cart, you'll kill him faster. Yeah, like right here, just hop up there. Okay. The Mercy's flying toward you, so no need to jump to her. If you just stay here, stay where you are, you're gonna do damage to them, and you're between, again, you're like between the person and where they want to go. So like, and in this situation, like they're pretty mobile, so it's gonna be a lot harder to get the landing damage, and you're gonna get a lot more value just staying there and zapping them consistently. So like the situation is like, if she stays there where it's easier for you to jump her, then you just win by default. If she comes in, then you want to stay here and not jump. So like if you stay here, it's a win-win either way, no matter if she stays there or comes in. If you jump, then yeah, I don't know. It like you go where she doesn't really want to be. She wants to be where you are. So if you really want to try to get the jump damage here, you can jump straight up, and then if she flies in, you'll land on her. And if she stays there, then you win anyway. So I guess if you really want to like min-max your jump damage, then jumping straight up is the play here. But I think just standing your ground here is like totally fine. Reaper first always. Reaper first always. Like he lives forever because like he gets self-healing. He didn't end up doing that much in the end, but like it's always really risky because he can like two-shot any of your squishies. Well, I guess not me, but he can. Well, if she doesn't have freeze, like ice block, then yeah, he can one-shot her too. But these guys like can all die in 2 shots, so it's really risky to leave the Reaper up. The D.Va can't do as much. And then here, like the Orissa's fortified, so it's not like you're doing half damage to her essentially, or sorry, it's it got changed, so it's actually 80% damage instead of half, but it's still like really inefficient. So normally you do 60 DPS, but against her you're doing like 48 or something like that. So and you're only shooting her. Like if there's like her and like 2 other people here, or like 1 other person even, then this is totally fine. But you can see the beam, you know where the Mercy is. While she's fortified, she's not really gonna die. You can kill the Mercy, or you can kill. I'm not sure if the Moira is up here yet, but I heard the Torb, so you can kill the other like squishier targets first, and then once her fortify is off, then you can definitely like finish her off. So just target prioritization here. Be aware of what cooldowns the enemy is using, and adjust who you're shooting based on that. Yeah, so you got nanoed, but like you're still shooting the Orisa, which like you will kill a little bit faster because you're nanoed, but these things can die fast, and you know, like they're healing and doing a lot more damage than the Orisa is, so they are more important. So I like that you're here. That's perfect. And then the Torb is low. Don't focus on the D.Va. Like kill the squishy targets first. Not sure if you were low there. You're frozen, but you're like pretty full, so you don't need a primal here. While you're frozen, you have time to glance down here. I know it's like hard sometimes to keep track during the middle of a fight, but when you're frozen, like you can't do anything anyway. So for that, like 1 second, you can like make sure to look here. And basically, so your Tesla does 60 DPS, so on like non-armored targets. And your Winston swings, if you're consecutively landing them, oh, and this is per target. Your Winston swings, I forget the exact number, but I think it's like slightly higher if you're consecutively landing them. I think it's like 65 or something like that. So you do a little bit more, but it's actually a lot harder to consecutively land Winston swings, right? Because of the knockback. So like it's like usually less than this. So or it might be 70, but something like this. So like most of the time for and this is also per target, right? But most of the time, especially if there's more than one target, this is like way easier to consistently get this versus this. Like if there's multiple targets, you're gonna get like maybe one swing on all of them, but then your follow-up swings and your jumps are only gonna hit like one, maybe two of them at most. So like yes, in theory the DPS is about the same, but this is way easier to land and keep on targets. So over time, this is going to be a lot more, and this is going to be like starting at 65 maybe, but like dropping to like 40 or like half because you may not land every swing. So as long as you can, and you want to do damage, try to not primal. So if you get down to 200 or something, maybe then you want to survive and you can primal. The other reason to primal is if you can force a 1v1 that you can't with just normal. So maybe you need 2 jumps to get there, so you can jump, primal jump, or like there's a target you can primal into a corner and ensure the damage, whereas normally they might run away. Then you can primal. Or if the displacement is just really important, like if Diva Bomb's going in, or dragons, or something like that, where like you can boop them into your team, something like that, or displace their tanks, or like boop off high ground, or boop into environmental kills, or something like that. Then you can primal. But here in this situation, you're just looking for damage. You're looking to finish targets off of cart. Just try to stay normal as long as possible, and use this as the heal rather than as damage, or as like making a play. So in this situation, it's a little bit scary actually, because if your shield goes down and you're like this close, you might actually die. So you have jump here. It would actually be better to like jump over there in the corner. And then like you might take a little bit of damage still from the bomb, but it's going to be like 100 or 200 because the damage fall off is pretty severe. Whereas if you're like right next to it, I think it does do actually like 1,000 damage. So if you're like right next to it, you can actually die. And your bubble, like it's 107 here, so like it's kind of hard to tell if it's gonna break or not. Like it didn't, so you lived, and even if it did, you probably don't die right away. Maybe it does like 800 or like 900, but then like you basically don't have primal anymore. But like I don't know, just like this makes this like feels really risky to me. And you could definitely be safe by jumping into the corner. Good target focus. Here it is pretty important to kill the bongo. So like that a lot. Nice focusing the low target. You guys should okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Imagination is the essence of discovery.
Alright, so it's definitely harder to hold as Winston. And basically because it's a lot harder for the Winston to like keep space. Because his shield is on a cooldown and it like runs out, and then it doesn't have that much health either, and it's like one of the longest cooldown shields. But what you can do is like the concepts like we talked about before, where you stand inside a room and you like taser out to deny space. Another thing you can do is play high grounds. Like you can stand not this corner, the one up here, but you can, like, if you just imagine that this is that corner, you can stand up here and like zap down. They can't really shoot you. You can always back up and be in cover, and then you can always jump out. Or you can like zap. They start shooting you, you shield, keep zapping. They may have to back out if they have a mortar or something, and they don't. You get a lot of ult charge, and they once they break shield, you jump out, something like that. So having the high grounds makes Winston like okay here, and then having the corners makes him like okay here as well. Once you get to the open space, it's a little bit harder to play him. Although here, take a look here.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
I love your glasses.
You don't really turn.
Oh, thanks. I like yours.
Okay, well, anyway, but so basically, when the card's at the very end, like near where it caps, a lot of times their Ana will play around here, and the nice thing here is that there's that high ground right here, so you can be up there denying the Ana, and then once she gets low, you can drop and kill her, and then jump out, stuff like that. So there's still a high ground where you can harass their backline from, which is it's not bad, but generally speaking, in this open space, you have those pillar plant things over here, but there's just not a lot of cover, and it's really hard to play Winston and once it hits the open space.
Two.
For optimal chance of
Yeah, so here you're not gonna be able to do a whole lot until it gets closer, because being exposed is just really bad for Winston. But I guess some things you could do is maybe be up here in this doorway, and just be patient and wait for them to push up, and then you'll be in position already and be able to zap down on them. That's one thing. Two would be here Genji Mei. So if you had a Widow or something, you could use bubble at the very start, because it takes about 8 seconds for this to push up anyway, and your bubbles, I think it's either a 10 or 12 second timer. So if you bubble at the very start of the game, at 0 here, then you're gonna have this back before the real fight that you want to take happens, which is over here, you either being up here or playing the corners or stuff like that. So you can bubble at the very beginning for someone, even maybe for Ursa, so she can, well, but she still wants to use shield early so that she starts her cooldown. But you can use bubble at the very start just to have it do something, and then you'll have it back before you're gonna actually need it. Yeah, so you really can't do anything here. Oh, I guess one other thing you could do is if you really want to, you could play up here at the very start and just make sure you have your jump, and then because sometimes people will roll out a Widow or a Hanzo just alone at the top where their team pushes bottom, and then you can get them really low, force them out, or maybe kill them and then jump out. And the way you would want to jump out is from there to the high ground over here, and then go in the doorway up top. I mean, it's risky because if they have a Ursa or something, they can pull you out of the jump or stuff like that. But that's another option. You can do sometimes.
Stop the payload.
Yeah, so if you had bubble at the start, you would have 3 seconds left on it by now, and this whole time you can't really do anything. You just have bubble, and you're just kind of safe here. I do not like that. Yes, they are all top, and they got Maywalled, so they probably didn't see you, but if they heard you, they can jump on you and destroy you. You have no chance here. But they probably won't, but it's really risky. Okay, and now that you are here though, and you have the cooldowns, I would actually prefer if you... Oh, they're not looking. Okay. I was gonna say if they dropped this way, I would prefer for you to go this way and play the corner, like basically this corner, but on the other side, and like zap them from there, and then try to jump out to up here. Although it's actually like kind of far, and I don't know if you can actually make that jump. Which is another reason why like being here is kind of scary. But the way that they're like they haven't dropped yet, so like you can probably walk up here, zap the bastion, and then from here you should be able to jump to the corner. So maybe you'll be safe. Pulling your more into a dangerous position also. Bastion's not looking at you. Okay. You absolutely need to save that jump to get out. Like, the only way you're gonna live here is if you jump out. And you don't have to jump out until you're like maybe half. So like as long as they let you stay here, you should just like stay where you are. But once they start damaging you, you absolutely need to jump out, and you need to have jump available. So like, jumping in does two things. One, it puts you in the middle of them, so now they absolutely are looking at you, right? Before, like, I don't know what the Bastion's thinking, but like, you know, at least the other people maybe aren't like they're like looking forward. But you're zapping the Bastion, you're zapping the rest that they should be turning on you, but they don't. But like over there, you at least at most have attention of two people, and then only the others if these guys comment. But once you jump in, now you're in the middle of like all six, and they absolutely know you're there. They're now gonna focus all of their attention on you, and you don't have jump, so you're gonna, you know, this is like kind of a feed. You better die here. I mean, you lived longer than you should have, but anyway, but you still died, like, which is the expected outcome. And their Bastion is still ignoring your Mei, so I don't know.
Re-engaging.
But like, you guys still lost that fight, right? Like, even though the Bastion ignored you for so long, like you still lost the fight. So that's why like the first jump in was probably bad, because if they had looked at you earlier, you would have died like much faster without getting any value. And then the second jump that you committed into the middle of their team was like especially bad because basically they gave you a free gave you a free life, but then by making that second jump, you like give it back to them. So here, like, you either need to wait for your team, or you can like jump up here and like play this, like just wait here until your team is ready to engage, and then you can drop behind and they can come in at the same time. But if you walk in, or if you stay low ground, it's gonna be really hard for you to like get in without using jump, and then you're kind of in the same situation where if they turn on you, you just die for free. Whereas if you're up here, then if you're up there, okay, so you're waiting, so that's good. But even like waiting here, it's hard for you to get in without jump, right? But whereas if you're up on the high ground, let me rewind a little bit. If you're up on the high ground, then all you have to like you have cover all the time by just like stepping back, and like to get in, you just walk off the high ground and you're in on top of them because the car comes this way, and then you have jump to get out. Whereas from here, it's not that far, but there's still distance, and this is too far for you to shoot, right? So if the Bastion payload's here and Bastion's on top of it, you still have to walk in, and that whole time they can shoot you, and and then force you to like jump back out that way because you're kind of far to jump left. And if you use jump to get in, like if you get like a fast engage, then you're kind of stuck. Or if you like jump top, then by like committing jump, you have 5 seconds until you can actually like do the same like escape, right? So if you wait here until payload comes out, then you jump top. One, they may hear you and they may be able to pull you. Two, you can't actually commit for 5 seconds until you have to jump back, because if you drop, you're gonna die. So that's why like using the jump now to set up and hiding is like so much better. And like I think like playing with your team here is also fine. If you just like group up main with your team, because that's the way they're gonna go, because they're slow and they have to walk from spawn. And you know, Genji's still spawning, and I think Mage just, or like one of them like just barely spawned. So yeah, I don't know. Just like set up in position, set up in think ahead and think of where you're going to want to be, and try to be in a position where you can get to that place without using any cooldowns, and then have your cooldowns to survive and get out. But this is waiting here is still better than like walking in right now because your team is spawning, so that's good. This is a little early because you just saw your team. They're on the bridge, right? So, yeah. So Genji just spawned. These people are 2 people in spawn versus walking bridge right now. This is bridge. And she's just coming out of spawn too. I think that's your Ana. So, like... And you can see your own team through walls. Like, I know this is like a replay, so you can see the enemy team through walls, but like, you can see your own team through walls. So this is information that you have in the current moment. So you know that they're like, they need to be at least like kind of closer to the choke for you to be able to start fighting. Because then once you jump in, then they can push in, and you get value of at least like buying attention from their team so that the rest of your team can get on top of them. By walking in right now, it's like a 1v5 or 6 or however many people are here, and if you die, then your team is still like just getting to the choke and they can't really do anything. Like the attention the enemy team is spending on you doesn't buy your team anything. Okay, yeah. So jumping in here again. Now you're committed. They have a Bastion that shreds your shield in 2 seconds by himself. They have an Ursa that can shoot you. They have a Moira that can damage you, and like this Moira means that these 2 can't die to you by yourself. This is okay if you did make kind of a far jump, so you could play. There's another one of these planters like right behind you, so you could play that corner and like basically make these guys look at you so that your team can start walking in. But, you know, like the Ursa can pull and stuff, and so it's not really that safe. But at least it's better than like committing to fight the Bastion. So that was the pull. You did try to go there, or maybe it was the Ash Boop. But yeah, I mean, like you should know that if you jump in there, this is exactly what's going to happen every time. And if they don't kill you here, it's because they're blinded. They didn't see you like at the beginning. And you can see here that your Ursa is at choke here, but the rest of your team is still crossing bridge. So, you know, like if your Ursa walks in right now, like while you're here, it's a 2v6 and you still lose. And then you're going to get rolled on the last. So she's going to have to stay there. They're going to have to take the 5v6, which is better than the 2v6, which is better than the 1v6. And, they're probably going to lose because they're down 1 player. But yeah, you just can't make that jump here. You have to be more patient. I guess another way to think about it is because you guys are spawning, like all of this space already belongs to the enemy team. So like, you know, like you by yourself, you're never going to be able to take all of this away from them. And like so basically like they're just cashing in what they've already earned by winning the previous fight, and you're trying to like steal that from them, but like as a monkey you can't do that. Like there's just no way. So what you should do instead is fight for what your team has, which is like this. Like once your team gets here, like you have this, like you control the like the part under bridge, right? So like so you control the most important part because that's where the capture finishes. So like rather than try to steal like all of this from them, just like make sure you hold the part that you already own. Like different way to think about it.
The power of destruction.
Onward and upward.
Alright, so your team's dying because you're not there. Shield your team out here.
You're powered up. Get in there.
They already got the point. I mean, your Ana chose to nano you, but you just shouldn't be there to begin with. Like, as soon as you died over there, like, unless your team's still alive on point when you come out, they already got it. So there's no reason for you to feed again. So here you can see your team's already backed out. So what you can do is keep them alive. You can walk out here and bubble, and that'll buy, you know, Bastion kills it in 2 seconds, but that'll buy, those 2 seconds will be enough for you to get to the cover there. And like heal each other up. Yeah, like heal each other up here and survive to get around the corner and then like finish healing and then get the rest of your spawns back from like Diva who died on cart. You'll be able to regroup on the corner over there and take a fight there. By jumping in, like you're committed here for 5 seconds and the car's rolling, so, or it's not quite rolling yet, but like it's gonna roll, so like they're gonna see you, they're gonna turn the corner before like you have time to get out. Like your cooldown's not gonna be back yet. So like you can see this is already capped essentially. Like there's like half a second left. So by the time you even land over there, it's capped. So it's done, and then you jump, right? You're like in the middle of jumping. And so once you get here, oh, so your Ana nanos you because you're low. She should just let you die. And honestly, like you should just like not even land on the ground. You should just fall in the water. So this is completely pointless.
You're powered up. Get in there.
I guess your Genji called that he wanted a blade. But then I think your Ana should nano your Genji. Okay, so you win this fight, but their spawn's like literally right here. So you're not gonna be able to hold, you're not really gonna be able to hold it like this close. So like it's kind of a waste. Like you traded 2 ults for basically 10 seconds of respawn and like 2 seconds of walking from the enemy. So they're gonna respawn for 10 seconds and then they're gonna walk 2 seconds to get back to exactly where they were before. Whereas if you had let's say that you guys instead group over here, right? And you wait for respawns and whatever, and then you use nano blade and like kill them on like off of cart on this corner that's like right over here, like under the archway. So like a little bit further over there, but let's say you kill them there, right? You use the same 2 ults, then you get the same 10 seconds of respawn, right? Plus, this is, you know, maybe like, you know, 5 to 6 seconds of walking. So just by like taking the fight here instead of over there, you gain 4 seconds for free. Plus the time that it took them to push cart from here to here. So I don't know, like they're like little bits of time, but like those little bits, those seconds add up and they can matter a lot. Okay,
This will protect us.
Stick your
you hear you should be turning around here. You saw, like you should see that. Okay, I mean, why are you gonna jump into a Bastion ult though? Like, I guess it's kind of funny in that like by him ulting, it's actually kind of almost a little bit safer for you to jump in because if he turreted, then you would like get shredded. But like I know you have primal, but again, this feeds ult. So like if you primal and you die, or like even if you get like really low, you fed them a lot of extra health, and like your team can't really hold here. Like they can't get up with you because of the Bastion ult. So like you're gonna be stuck here alone, and then like either you're gonna die, and then it's gonna be like 6v5 again, and your team's gonna have to back up, and you're gonna have to reset again. I mean that's like actually that's like the only thing that's gonna happen. Or like maybe you're like Ryan charges in. Like if your team like full commits, then everyone dies and they still win. Like it's just there's no upside here. So their Bastion's like I don't know. He's not paying attention at all. Like you should be dead already. He didn't turn around for you. Like he saw you jump in, he heard you jump in and land. Like he heard you primal. If you just turned around, you would be dead. Okay. Okay, but it's kind of a messy fight, and like let's look at the ult charges here. So they used I think they used 2, but okay, so before this fight, she has like 2%, 85. They have ult already, 83. Okay, let's keep track of your teams as well. 26, 22, 61, 31. Okay. Oh shoot, I just erased it. He's using his already. Okay, so both Moira's ult. Kill the Bastion. Oh, unlucky. Their Moira got pinned. Pretty low. They use Bob. Okay, you're trying to get out. I like this. There's a Mega right behind you. You need to look to get out here. Oh, you need to back out. You're low. Your healers are dead. You could have gone out the right door and jumped out. You could have walked out that door and jumped over the bridge. I think maybe you still die there, but this is like a definitely die. Which I guess it's not terrible because you're dying. You're like dying card, I guess, but you get a little bit more ult charge. But okay, so let's look at this. Let's see. So okay, so this is. I mean, so she got Bob and used it, and she has +9 here. Okay, she's in the middle of ulting. I don't know if she had to, but 14, 21, and okay. I guess this is technically what 17 plus 9, 26. She went from 2 to 79, so that's 77. And she had ult and never used it, so she could have gotten ult, but or she would have earned ult charge, but she already had it, so that was kind of opportunity wasted. Okay, so your Genji got 49. 31, 45. Not bad. I guess he shattered and then. Oh no, 26 to 15. Okay, so he's 323, 33. Then 27. Okay, well, I guess it's 15, but so like overall, like, you know, you guys like built up like a decent amount of ult charge, but they would have built up a lot more if they didn't have ults like going into the fight, basically, I guess. So it kind of worked out for you guys, but like if they had similar ult numbers like as you guys before the fight, like if they weren't like so close to ult already here, like they would have gotten so much more. Like they would have all gotten numbers like closer to Urs's, like plus 60, plus 70. So I don't know. It's just like, yes, you can win the fight, or like not quite win the fight, but like it's like, you know, you trade out. But like in terms of ult economy, it trades out in their favor. And then in terms of position, like it kind of trades out in their favor, because like you guys want to stall more, and the later you take the fight, like the longer they have to walk back, the more time you get for free, the more time that you earn from winning the fight. If you take the fight like right at their spawn door, then it's just you only earn 10 seconds, because that's how long it takes to respawn. If you take the fight at this choke, you earn like 12 to 13 seconds, because it's not that far. If you take the fight like all the way at the end of second, then you earn like 20 or 25 seconds, because it takes like so long to walk all the way around. And like the whole time that they're walking in over bridge, you can be poking them from high ground and still be in position for when they get around the corner. So like, I'm not saying like don't take a fight in this area. Like I think that's fine, but just like taking the fight on cart here just like doesn't really make sense to me. And like jumping into their spawn to fight them, like even if you win, like it makes it a lot harder for you to win because they have spawn advantage. But even if you win, you earn less, and they're gonna charge more ults just because like they have like better positions and stuff. So like that's kind of like the very long explanation of why it's not worth it. Okay. But,
Onward and upward.
yeah, and so like hopefully like I'm giving you a lot of criticism, but hopefully this is I'm trying to explain like the reason behind why things are why people say the things that they say, like group up, like don't play too aggressively, like that stuff. Like this is the reasoning behind that, and hopefully that gives you a better understanding of like not just this specific VOD, but like in the future, like the mode of thinking that will like help you apply it to other maps and like future games as well. Okay, so they have a Bastion. He does a ton of damage over long sightlines, and it's really hard to like get on top of him, right? Or you normally have to burn cooldowns to get on top of him. But on this map, in this situation, if you guys group right here, then the card comes around the corner, right? Like at any point until like about like here, like you can be on high ground here and he cannot see you until you drop it down on him. So like this is like the perfect place to fight Bastion, because you just wait for him to push around corner and then you drop. If the Bastion is really smart, what he'll do is not sit on cart, and he'll like sit like maybe in bridge, or like in maybe like in that stairwell that leads up to bridge here. But there's a door up here, or the window in bridge, and that's like where like owl teams will play when they play Bastion on this map, or that's like what Shock did. But you know, here they're gonna like in this game they're gonna sit cart all the whole map because that's what they've been doing, and you know that's what people are used to. So if you guys just group up here, wait for the cart to push like maybe to the corner here, you all drop on him, and you got on top of him for free. Then you can blow all your cooldowns, kill him. You know, drop bubble, drop nade, try to sleep him or whatever. Like do all of that stuff, and like because they're here and the shields, the Ursa shield's on cart as well. Like you'll be behind the shield. You don't even have to kill the 600 HP shield. You can just kill Bastion. So that's like the play you guys can make here. Mei is taking damage, like she's kind of feeding, but you can at least group 5 here. So like, don't get too hasty. Wait till you're like, till the enemy is taking a bad position and then go. Because it's really hard to play into Bastion otherwise. So you need to be high ground. Your mage just died, but there's no helping that. But like the rest of your team is behind you, and they're not that close yet. So you just need to wait for them. Like you need to look behind you. Like you know, Anna's in front of you, but like these 3 aren't that close, I don't think. And you can play for like Nano Blade even. Like if you guys just all stay alive, and then you know, maybe try to take a little bit of damage, get Anna her ult, then you can Nano Blade, and then your tanks can commit on top of it. Basically, you're like, you know, maybe your Ryan charges in, you jump in, and then your Genji dashes up at the same time, and then he gets nanoed, and they're gonna have to kill you guys first because you're in their face, and Genji can kill whatever he wants and like wipe them. So, like that's how you enable a Nano Blade. But like now this timing is really bad because the shield's gonna die. You jumped in. See, this shield's gonna die in 2 seconds to the Bastion alone. Shorter because his rest of his team's shooting at it, and you don't have jump to get out, so you're dead here. Like, if you were gonna go here now, even walking would be better because at least then you can shield and jump out. Either high ground or like, I don't think you can make to the room behind you. You can maybe make it to the corner of the yellow wall here, like just the intersection where it kind of turns. Maybe you can jump there. But walking in, shielding, and jumping out, at least you get a little bit of damage in. You can build a little bit of ult, and you survive. And that's the most important thing. Grouping up here with the whole team and then dropping is the way to kill Bastion. Jumping in means you're dead, and that's like the worst of all options. Like basically like the Mei feeds, but you're doing the exact same thing. And I mean the Anna is like kind of also, but at least she didn't die, right? Okay. Okay, and actually like the walk in bubble jump out thing, that maybe that would build your Anna ult. So that makes it a little bit more okay even than then. But still like playing high ground together and dropping on the Bastion is absolutely the best play.
Re-engaging.
Right. So at this point, you guys are down numbers, and they like the cards pushed up. Like the Bastion has a full view of everyone. Like you already like they already own this point. Like you guys are just delaying the end of it, which is like fine. You're getting time off the clock, but like you can't expect to win this here. Okay, so even burning 2 ults. 2 ults to 1, you get 1 kill here. They ult. I do like this, that they're, because they lost the Bastion also. Is that? Okay, let's see. So when you died, oh right, the Genji bladed, they traded. They're up 1. They have really long spawns though.
Re-engaging.
This
They let Bastion die. I think they're more looking for Bastion. You get rezzed. Now, oh, but your Ana got the nano off. Okay. The May freeze like 1. Bastion die again. Oh, where it went. They also kind of like split really hard. They should have done better than what they did. Maybe the freeze was really good, so I don't know. Maybe they keep it anyway. But I don't know. Like you guys used 3, 4 ults here. You built a lot of it back up because they staggered for so long. Yeah, I don't know. Like it worked out, but like most of the time, and it gets better if you like find a little bit. It won't. And like also imagine like how much easier, or like maybe if you hadn't been dead at the start, like maybe your team could have gotten like even more value and like not had to use 4 ults. Maybe you only use like 2 ults or 3 ults, and then you would have like 3 or 4 here now to close out the map. I mean, yeah, like maybe if you weren't there, the Genji wouldn't have gotten the kill off the blade. But like it's, I don't know, like even when you are there, like you really shouldn't get like the kills off the blade. Like 1v6. I don't know, into a Moira and I mean, yeah, maybe Mercy, but and like or they get the kill and it should be rezzable. So you hear the Bastion ult go off, you should back up. I would even jump out to high ground maybe. You guys are winning these fights, but you're off of ults. If the other team backs up, they're gonna have ults to push you. Like, no reason to use Valk there. They kind of wasted that. I think here, like, you should be going high ground. And then like maybe play in the bridge or something, and then you can like be inside, zap down on them, and then jump out if they focus you. That'll help you build your ult back. This jump I actually don't mind because you have this drop down to be in cover. So this jump I actually kind of like. So basically, because there's cover, because they're high ground and you can drop for cover, this is really good. And like this is something you can do on like Hollywood, or no, sorry, Route 66 as well, is or like Numbani, where people sometimes hold the high grounds really hard, or like they bunker on high ground. You can jump into them, or like this is like the gas station on Hollywood with the big billboard here, and people like hold right here. You can jump into them, have a little bit of cover from the sign, and then bubble and like shoot them until they break your bubble, and then you drop down and you're in cover, and your like healers can heal you from a distance, and then you just wait for your cooldown to come back. And you can repeat, depending on what they do. But here, like same idea. Like there's this high ground here. You can jump up as soon bubble as soon as they start breaking your bubble or start doing a lot of damage to you. You drop down and you get healed, and they can't really. It's like a lot harder for them to finish you off. And if they drop to finish you, then they don't have high ground anymore. I mean, the Bastion still takes like forever to like turn around. But yeah, so you can do that again. So here, this is fine. Like if he really starts swinging on you, you can jump up here again and then zap down on him, and then like he's gonna maybe back out here, and then you can like keep zapping him and then drop and zap and then jump out, and maybe like look to get a kill there while still being really safe. But like while he's just hard shielding, this is totally fine. So, and even like if you just swing a bit, if he's like pretty low, then it's fine to just like tank it if you're not gonna die. This is also a situation where it's okay to jump pack for damage because it's basically 1v1. And the other thing you can think about is when your shield comes off cooldown, you can like walk up to his face and shield, and it doesn't block damage from him because it wouldn't anyway, even if he was swinging. But it blocks heals, and okay, I guess in this situation there's no heals that can come to him long range that a shield can block. But if they had a Baptiste or they had an Ana, then if you walk into him, shield, then he has to get out of the shield before his Ana or Baptiste can heal him, or even Zen actually. So you know, that's something else to think about in a different situation. And another thing you could consider is like once you get your bubble back, you can jump to the doorway and shield. Might be a little scary if he has charge, but you can jump to the doorway and shield and like just body block him into the room and make sure he can't get out. But of course you have to be they are down. Oh, they're treated for your Ana. You have primal, so I don't hate it. As long as you make sure you don't die here, you can force their next fight to be their last fight, and they're down the Rhine. If you can get one more pick here, it's gonna be really good. As long as you don't die, because they're gonna have to push in like S5 or however many you kill off. Like the people that die like after like 5 seconds from now won't be spawned in time to make the walk back to cart. So I'm not sure if you can boop the Orisa into the dragons. I think she fortified, so probably not. So I think this is fine here. If you could have jumped a little bit better. Oh, she doesn't have dragons here. Or she doesn't have, okay, so here I would focus the Orisa first. Either boop her into dragons or boop her off the edge. If you are going to commit here with, there's more people here, you can jump here and look for these guys to boop into the river. I don't know. I don't hate it, but this is risky. Like if he turns around and he can get pocketed by his Mercy and his Moira, and he won't die. But I guess the rest of your team shooting at him as well. So I guess if he turns on you, he's gonna die before you are. So I guess it's fine. Yeah. So like this is great because you killed like 2 people after like 15 seconds were left. Like they don't have time to even touch basically. And if they do, like it's like the Rhine has to go ball and he has to solo touch. And if that's So yeah, like basically like I think the main things are just like being aware of your cooldowns and when you have shield and when you have jump or not, and then playing your aggression based on those cooldowns and based on like when your team is up people or when they're down. So like you don't when it's 6v6, you almost never want to jump in unless it's a hard commit and you're going to get nanoed, or you know that like the rest of your team is like hard diving with you and one of them is getting nanoed. When it's like when the other enemy team's down a few, then you can hard commit, like make aggressive jumps and like look for pickoffs, especially if you have shield still. But like it's a little bit more risky if you don't. When it's 6v6, you mainly want to walk in or jump high ground, wait for cooldown, and then walk in or drop down, and then have jump available to get out when you get low. Yeah, so I think that's like the main thing that you can work on a lot. And just like default to playing high grounds, you can always drop down. It's easy for you to get up, but like you can only like once you do that, you're dead for 5 seconds. So if you pre-position in high grounds, you'll be able to do a lot more. You'll have a lot more options. And yeah, and that's basically it. Just like managing aggression, using jump, like where it gives you more options rather than just for movement or just a hard commit, and being aware of like when you can be aggressive and when you can't.